In a way, being an artist is one of the most courageous careers you can have. So every time an artist creates a bit of artwork, they put a little bit of themselves into the artwork, and then when they go on to share it online and it doesn't get the attention that they expect or receive the kind of admiration that they perhaps deserve, and worse yet, it actually gets criticised, it can be quite hard to take, especially compared to, for example, if you're working for a business or you're trying to sell a product that you're just not invested in. I've worked as a semi-professional artist for a couple of decades now, so I might be a little bit biased in saying this, but I still wanted to share a few points. Society often just sees artists as being lazy, just unrealistic or pretentious for not doing a real job. And there's resentment there because it looks like it's just playing all day, whereas you might have to do the 9 to 5 grind and it just doesn't seem fair. But of course, most people don't see what's behind the illusion. They don't see what's behind just that final result. At the end of the day, art is still work. People don't see the years that it takes to get to a sort of level where you're actually able to monetize the work. They don't see the study, the failure to even master basic skills. And to be honest, most artists are just happy to spend thousands of hours improving their art, and they have no guarantees that it's going to lead to money or success. It's not just a fun little hobby, not for me at least. It's more like an exercise in resilience, discipline and patience. The world is constantly telling artists they're just not good enough, or they're just not good, or they don't deserve value. Like, I must have seen hundreds of social media posts now when an artist goes off, they post work, they work on their craft for years, they're now attempting to maybe sell their artwork online for just maybe a modest 3 or 4 figure sum. And then the amount of people that will come back and say, I don't think your artwork's even worth $50, whereas it probably costs more than $50 just for the materials alone. An art is just treated like a decoration rather than a fundamental contribution of something meaningful created by a fellow human being. Now, there's a few exceptions, but generally speaking, behind every piece of artwork there is grit, there's late nights, there's failed pieces, there's rejection, there's self-criticism, there's the courage to just keep going. And artists can't just be artists, they have to be makers, marketers, business owners, social media managers, photographers, graphic designers and accountants. And then when you're competing in such an oversaturated market, even a single win just becomes a huge personal effort. Sure, some artists' motives are somewhat dubious and some people will just sell out and make crap in order just to make a quick buck. But the vast majority of artists do have a vision, they do have skills and they do have something to contribute, and I don't feel like that should be shot down just because they're not producing god tier level of artwork. And so I'd argue that choosing an art career is an act of bravery. It's betting on yourself in a world that keeps telling you not to. It's risking constant rejection and even poverty just in order to make something that you feel is meaningful. It's the courage to stay true to your vision even when the algorithms or trends are telling you to change. I think at the end of the day, artists are there to remind the world that beauty and creativity and imagination still matters. They're there to challenge conformity and attempt to bring something original into the world and express something that others can't. And in a society obsessed with productivity, artists prove that soul still has some kind of value. So next time you see an artist struggling to make it, remember they're not just creating art, they're choosing courage every single day.